and welcome back to Johnny Reed's Gaming Fallout Creation Club Part 3. In this video we'll be looking at the new Creation Club content, aka the Tunnel Snakes Rule mod. So, in this mod you will find that it's a quest mod with a new weapon and a new armor type, but we'll get onto that later on. First of all, you have to find the faint radio signal, which you'll find in your Pip-Boy. Then you have to listen to it in order to find the location of where the quest mod starts. So you want to travel either to the subway station, which you'll find on your map, or a location near to it, as I have done. This may be an unusually long load time. Please stay tuned for more after these commercials. And there we go. So you have to travel to the subway station, and it's a very simple quest mod, but I actually really enjoyed it when I played it. It's a little bit more content than what Creation Club has been pumping out so far, which has made a nice change. I personally found it was worth the 600 credit points that it was. Either that or it was 500, I'm not sure, it was within that price range. So anyway, you'll come across this subway station near Hangman's Alley, funnily enough, so if you're starting a new playthrough, you can just go back in the opposite direction that I was in, facing the subway station. You should find it. So, once you enter, you just go down the stairs, and there's a lot of glowing fungus in this area because it's relatively irradiated. And so far it looks quite unassuming. You just think it's a normal dungeon so far, which is pretty good. And then you find a raider. Usually there are bloatflies in this area. So you go through this door to the tunnel access. And this is where the mod really starts to come into its own. This is where it really begins. At this point in the video, the cat that I have is bothering the life out of me, so it's a bit slow. So you come across some feral ghouls, which you want to take out as quickly as you can. And there's this tunnel snake symbol back there on that wooden post, or even. And you'll come across your first tunnel snake with a classic 10mm pistol. But we'll look into that a bit later on. Come across some 10mm ammo. And this ghoul is wearing the tunnel snake's uniform. And for some reason at this point in the video I forgot to pick it up. But in a moment I will pick it up. So to really show off the armor in a moment, I basically take off the Chinese stealth suit, which we covered in a previous video. And now I'm going to show off the new armor. It's got 30 poison resistance, and it is quite good, especially against rad scorpions and things like that. You know, it does a lot more resistance. Be quite good in a survival playthrough. So as you can see, it's got a beautiful image of the Tunnel Snakes logo on the back, which I thought was better than the one in Fallout 3. In all honesty. And of course back into my Chinese stealth suit, as that seems to be my favourite armour from the Creation Club so far. So in here, you'll find the ham radio that gives out the distress signal, and some more 10mm rounds on that ghoul. And then this is the PC entries that you'll find, where they've added a little bit of lore and a little bit of backstory as to how the mod works and why the tunnel snakes and that came to the Commonwealth. So basically, Wally Mack from Fallout 3 eventually leaves DC and comes to the Commonwealth. I'm not sure about the exact time period. I'd imagine it was within 10 years from Fallout 3. So lore-wise, as far as I can tell, because most of this is covered by Bethesda, it's basically correct. You know, it's going to be canon, as far as I can tell. Another tunnel snake symbol there. It's quite a cute one. It would make quite an emoji. Quite a good wee emoji. So I've backtracked a little bit, just to see if there's any more items lying about. There are a couple of dead tunnel snakes roaming about, but nothing particularly special. So when you get to this point, you will start going through the tubes, through the train system, and you'll come to an autosave very shortly. Now this is really handy in survival. This is one of the few autosaves that will work in survival mode. And this is where you will basically have to find and defeat Wally Mack. So right now I'm going to show off the classic 10mm pistol. And I'm going to frag these feral ghouls. Funnily enough, a couple of the feral ghouls, if you actually went into VATS, aren't actually actively hostile. So the Fallout 3 10mm classic pistol has its own custom sounds and animations, and overall it's just a beautiful weapon. So this is Ultimatum. It does 50 points additional radiation damage on top of its ballistic value of 28. As you can see, it's already half modified and it's got its own custom textures, which I think are fantastic. It's really nice looking. A snazzy looking gun. Currently right now on all my characters, including my survival playthrough, which I will start videos on soon, I'm actually using the 10mm pistol an awful lot compared to the 38 pipe rifles and pistols. So this dungeon is quite irradiated. There are a lot of areas where you're going to take a lot of radiation damage, and you also get a key for Wally Mack's footlocker as well on his body. And Argent plasma cells for another mod that I will be showcasing in a few weeks. Or days, depending on how I feel. So this is Wally's footlocker. You usually get a baseball bat in it, and just generic junk, as well as another tunnel snake outfit. And basically, unfortunately, this is the end of the mod. It's not really a large mod or extended in any way. It's basically a fetch quest mod with a small boss in it. In survival mode, however, he is much tougher. You really need to use tactics. I found the best thing to do is sneak up and pop down a couple of mines and then throw a grenade and then pull out your pistol and just shoot, because otherwise Wally Mack is going to basically one shot you. in the back here there is a terminal that gives you access to a small area with a lot of decent goodies, especially Mr. Handy Fuel, which you'll see shortly. Unfortunately, I'm terribly bad at hacking, so this took me a couple of attempts to do. I found this was a really good area in my survival playthrough when I'd done this, because you can get a lot of good stuff that you can then break down into your settlements and really start getting it up and going with some of the gear that you get here. You also get a glow-sighted or other variant of combat shotgun here, so this is a good place to come through it in your survival playthrough early on if you can get down here, because you get a decent gun and coolant, batteries for your acid for antibiotics, a Braxo, and oil cans for if you want to reskin your guns, as I showed in a previous video. Unfortunately, as far as I know, you cannot change or put a skin onto the ultimatum legendary weapon or onto the classic 10mm pistols. Now this is a feature that I think was poorly designed. They should really be integrating the mods together. Bethesda might bring out a patch or an update for these mods to allow you to apply weapon skins, but I don't see it happening. They seem to want to keep them as original as possible. Now you can update your ultimatum, but what it won't let you do is it won't let you change the barrel. The barrel is only got the long barrel, that's it. But in another video I will show you how to upgrade your pistol, but I'll do that on a different character who's unlocked all the abilities to upgrade the pistols. So right now we're going to get ready to test the new pistol ultimatum on some super mutants. It comes as standard with a goal shot, goal sight, but I'm not a big fan of the goal sights. I mean, they are very accurate, but it's just not my thing. But it does go well considering the fact that it is an irradiated gun. Oh, I've got heavy doses of rads. Let's see if we can get rid of those. There we go, much better. And as you can see, it does pretty good damage. I mean, compared to the regular 10mm pistol, this has got about 10 points ballistic damage over the regular 10mm pistol. So this is not a gun to be sniffed at early on in the game. And it is the first guaranteed legendary item that you can obtain in the game. So if you want to just start a game, sprint through it, and get to that dungeon and take out Wally Mack and his crew of feral ghouls, it's a good way to get a legendary weapon really early on in the game that does significant damage, especially against humans. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed, and like and subscribe if you want to see more content. Bye.